Hi everyone, Phil from Tech for Techs here. Today we're going to be looking at this MSI case. It's one of their mag range, it's the Force 100R. What makes this different? It's got addressable RGB fans on the front, it's got a built-in controller, and the controller can take extra fans, and you can change the lighting effects from the button on the front. It has also got a tempered glass 4mm side, which is pretty much flush with the case. Okay, so let's have a closer look at this case. The retail price of this, or at least suggested, is around £60. We do have links in the description below if you want to have a look down there, and if we can find it cheaper we'll link it there. But overall it will take basically most motherboards on the market, so it'll take your mini-ITX cases. It'll also take MicroATX and standard ATX. It will not take extended ATX though. Fans and so forth, you can actually fit quite a few fans in here. On the top you can fit either two 120mm fans or 240mm. On the rear you can only fit the one 120 fan, which it does come with one already fitted, but that one has no RGB on it. Along the front you also have room on there for two 140mm fans or three 120mm fans. Radiator support, you can fit 120mm on the back, 120mm or a 240mm radiator on the top, and on the front you can either fit a 120 or 240mm radiator on the front. So you should have plenty of room on there for doing most water cooling and stuff like that. The pre-existing fans which are installed, as we said, the one on the back is 120mm. It doesn't come with RGB. The two on the front are addressable RGB, which is good. The case does have a controller built in. You can actually add extra RGB lighting to that controller, so it'll all be adjustable via the button on the top of the case. But it also, the controller has a connection where you can plug it directly into your motherboard, so you can actually adjust the RGB lighting from your motherboard as well. Otherwise, let's have a look what we've got. Okay, storage wise, you have got room in here for two 2.5-inch SSDs along sort of this area here against the next to the motherboard, and you've also got room for a CPU cooler length of 160mm or height, depending on how you want to put it, and a GPU length of 330mm, so that should be able to fit most things on the market. You do have your magnetic filter on the top, which is here, which covers up the fans or radiator you can put on the top, so it's easy to clean, which is good. It does have that controller board for your RGB lighting, so it's a 1 to 6 LED control board, which is also very good, and it has one 2.5-inch storage tray on there as well. You're also able to fit two 3.5-inch storage bays as well, so basically the little trays which slide in and out, you can fit those in as well. And it also has a dust filter on the bottom down here. The side, this bit here, is glass, or tempered glass at least. It's 4mm thick, so that's pretty good, and it's toolless design, so you just basically unscrew it and it should come off. Sometimes the screws can feel a little tight when they are new, so you may still need a flathead screwdriver just to loosen it up a little bit. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. It supports MSI's RGB Mystic Light effects, so you can change all your different styles and so forth like that. There is a LED switch on the front here. You've got two USB 3 sockets here, headphone and microphone, a reset button, as well as your power button there as well. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the case. Let's open this up first of all. Let's take this glass off. Well, you're supposed to be toolless design, but it's on that tight you cannot take it off with your fingers. So the first time you are going to use a screwdriver. You can actually use a Phillips head or a flat head screwdriver to undo these. So let me just loosen them a little bit and go the rest with thumbs. So not exactly 100% toolless when I've had to get a screwdriver out, but that's usually where they've been tightened a little bit too much usually in the factory. So let's have a look. Okay, here we go. So I'm holding on to the glass while I do this, just in case it just falls out, because I don't know if it's hinged or not. Okay. The glass does have a plastic sheet on the front and the back to protect it, which is good. Yeah, there is no hinge or anything holding that glass in, it's just on that little ledge. So watch it as you take it off, because the last thing you want to do is drop that. To take the other side off, you have got thumb screws out. These ones are coming off easily, so that's good news. Let's move those thumb screws out of the way. Okay, and that does have a little hinge on it to hold it in near the front. So inside we have some paperwork. It looks like a generic one for all the 100 range. So you've got a 100M, 101M and 100R. Tells you how the sides come off, which I think we figured that bit out already, as well as taking all the bays out and the front off and so forth. You've also got a quick installation guide as well, which tells you where to put your I/O plate and stuff like that. So it's pretty straightforward, as well as your cabling on there as well. So it's got plenty of information on there you may need. Okay, let's have a look what else we've got inside. We do have a bag tied in there. That's going to have all your cables in there and screws, anything that's needed. So you've got some cable ties, which is always nice. A rear I/O plate for the PCI Express, and then all the screws as well that you should need. It looks like there's an extra couple of thumb screws there as well. Let's take a closer look at the inside. So as you can see on the inside here, you've got that one fan there, and there is another two there. It does have like a shroud over the power supply, so you have to fit the power supply from the back of the case or the rear side of the case. So it would slide in that way. There does seem to be plenty of cable tied in on there, so lots of holes for you to slide your cables through, which is good. There's one down here as well, so that's pretty good, to be honest. There's enough cabling holes on there which should do you. I can't see why or any reason that it would fail on that one. The only thing to mention is it's not rubberized or anything. It is folded metal around these holes, so you shouldn't cut yourself or your fingers, which is good, but otherwise it's pretty good. You can see the controller on the back as well, which is here. So you can see there's two RGB devices connected up to that controller already, which goes to both of the fans, which are RGB. Bear in mind you can fit another 120mm fan in there if you so wished. It powers through a SATA connection, and then there's another cable coming off of it which goes to the RGB switch up there, and there's another cable, and that one's going. Got stuck in the hard drive bays. That's the one you would connect to your motherboard. So it's what we class as a 3-pin, but it's actually an RGB connection, but it's an addressable one. So it's sort of 4 pins, but it's 3. So it's like 1 pin, another pin, misses one, and then 1 more pin. It will not connect up to your traditional RGB connections. You have to make sure you've got a motherboard what supports the 3-pin connections with one spare in the middle, and not the one where it's 3 together. So just make sure your motherboard supports that. Generally, if you're getting an MSI motherboard, you should be fine, but obviously if you're getting a something like an Aorus or a Zeus, then you'll need to double check. So that looks pretty good, and it's actually good that it gives you extra room to add things onto the controller. There's no end of times we actually see this where they can have a controller, but it's only got room for the devices what are already plugged in, so you want to add an extra fan on. It's then got to be connected up to another controller or directly to the motherboard, and then nothing syncs. So that is actually a positive for this, which is very good. You can see your hard drive bays down here. That's your 3.5-inch ones. You just squeeze them and they slide out. You can fit 2.5-inch bays, or even 2.5-inch drives or 3.5-inch drives on there, which is very good. Also, you probably see from here, you can actually fit another solid state drive there and there, or 2.5-inch drive if you wish. So you actually got room for 4 drives there. And then again on the back, you've got room for another drive, so potentially 5 drives altogether. So you could potentially use 3 2.5-inch drives and 2 traditional hard drives, which are 3.5-inch, or you could use 5 2.5-inch drives. So as long as your motherboard's obviously got all those connections on there, and on top of that, if you're using M.2 drives, obviously they'll just stick into your motherboard. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. I can't complain on that. As we said on the bottom, you have got mesh on there. It doesn't slide out easy. It's one of these ones that's clipped in, so if you want to actually clean that mesh off, you've got to like sort of turn it upside down and take it out, peel it off, and then try and put it back in position. So that's not the best. I prefer where they just slide out, or the magnet on there to keep them in place. The front panel cabling is always an issue we find on cases. So for example, here, that's for your USB 3, which looks fine. And then you've got all your things for your start button, LED lights and stuff like that for the front. When I say LED lights, I mean like hard drive load lights and stuff. And then unfortunately you've got this cable, which is your audio cable. It's got your rainbow effect, or mustard packet effect, or whatever you want to do, where it's all multicolors on the end. Budget cases I've seen, for example the Kronos range, is all black on the end. How come that bigger manufacturers like MSI, for example this case, and we've seen it in Cooler Master, Thermaltake and so forth, they have these multicoloured cables on the end. You're trying to make a case look really nice, it's all black inside, and then you've got a rainbow effect cabling on the end, which makes it look a mess. Please cover these bits up. You can cover it up with some form of boot with ease, like we've seen in budget 20 quid cases. One thing to note about the fan on the back, it is a 4-pin fan connector. I know most boards now it's usually 4 pins, so that's fine. And then the fans on the front are yet again the same. They take the 4-pin fan headers. Bear in mind, each fan requires an additional connector, so either you're going to need a splitter, or your board needs to make sure you can support these 3 fans or any extra fans you wish to add to it. Otherwise you're going to run out of headers on your board. If you wish to take the front panel off, you can do. It's just basically a pull one, like that, if you finally do it. Some people like squeezing the bits on the inside and pulling it, but generally I just yank them off. It's easier and less messing about, and that's where you can see the fans, which is pretty good. So they're both on there. The fans are MSI fans. There's not much on there about the details. It just says 12 volts DC, 0.2 amps. I don't see a serial number or model number on there. Same with the one on the rear. They do have a slight texture to the fins. They are sort of a whitish plastic, sort of partially see-through, and where obviously the surrounds is black, but obviously when they're that colour they do light up better with RGB lighting. Bear in mind, that's where the fans are. They're sort of on the outside of the chassis, and then the front cover sticks out a little bit. So we're going to see in a minute, do a quick airflow test just to see if it's able to take the air in okay. But bear in mind, near enough the whole of the front, well, I'd say probably 80% of the front of the case is fully mesh, so you don't have to worry about it being glass or a big plastic sheet what's blocking the air getting in. So that looks pretty good as well. Okay, so now I'm just doing a quick smoke test just to see how much of the smoke it actually takes in, so which basically shows how good the airflow is. So just to give you an idea, so you've got those 2 fans on the front, and as you can see, that bottom fan is pretty much picking up all the smoke straight away, which means that that's a pretty good airflow on there. So you don't have to worry about the airflow at all on there, which is very good, which is one of the advantages of having a mesh front, or mostly mesh front, on the front of your case rather than a big glass or plastic panel, which can cause issues. And as you can see there, that's taken in a lot of air. And just to give you an example, let's have a quick look at the back so you can see how much, yeah, you can see where the back fan there is blowing the smoke away pretty well. So it's taking it in, it's going all the way in and then straight out to the back. So I've got no problem with the airflow there, which is pretty good. And obviously you can always add extra fans if you wished, which is a bonus. And to give you a rough idea how loud this case actually is, you can see my microphone here from the case, and it is actually extremely quiet, or at least the fans what are built into it are quiet, so that is pretty good. I'll let you listen now. So as you can see, it is a very quiet case. Okay, after having a look at the case and building it up, putting a board in there and so forth, didn't go anything too fancy because we want to show off the case and not the components. But in basics, it looks good. You can actually see the inside pretty well without any extra lighting in there, which is good because a lot of side windows sometimes have tinting on them, which makes it difficult to see the components unless you've got Las Vegas inside the actual case. One or two niggly little things. The first one is basically there isn't much room for the power supply in the bottom, or at least the extra cabling, so it is really tight if you keep in the hard drive bays. You can remove all the hard drive bays if you wish, which then makes cabling a little bit better. But saying that, it is quite thick, or should I say quite a lot of room, as in depth, behind the motherboard tray and the side casing to put lots of cabling in there without having any issue. So cabling wasn't really an issue, but it is a little bit tight around that power supply if you are keeping the hard drive bays in there. Another little niggly thing is on the bottom is the cover for, or the dust cover for the power supply. It doesn't slide out or anything, so if you need to take it off, you've got to basically turn the case upside down, peel it off, and then clean it and then push it back in and sort of clip it back in, which is a little bit of a mess. Also on the cabling front, the audio cable has your rainbow effect on the end, so you can see all the little individual cables which go to all the pins, which I'm not sure why these big names like MSI, and I've seen it on Cooler Master, Thermaltake and stuff as well, they all have this as multicoloured, and when you've got it plugged into your machine it does look a bit of a mess when you've got everything else nice and black or whatever, and then you've got this inch worth of multicoloured cabling just sticking out of your board, which is a bit of a pain, especially considering I've seen budget cases out there which we've reviewed, like the Cronus cases. They're very cheap cases in all honesty, but even they managed to cover up that little cable there. But otherwise, it's a very good case. The airflow's brilliant. Obviously you can add more fans, water cooling, up to a 240mm radiator in there, so you won't be able to go way over the top, but you have got plenty of room for your graphics card as well, so I've got no problem in highly recommending this case.